2 weeks ago, I made a video about my 1970 Honda CT70 and how I wanted to get that bike put together to bring to the Colorado Vintage Motorcycle Show that goes on locally here in Erie, Colorado. The motorcycle show is on Saturday, and at the time of filming, it's Friday evening after work. The bike is completely in pieces, and in true Discovery Channel form, we're going to try to get this motorcycle together at the last minute in about 18 hours so that we can bring it to the show. That right there is the bike in question, not that. But the frame on the floor is hopefully by tomorrow going to be a complete and running bike for Andy and I to take over to the Colorado Vintage Motorcycle Show in Erie, Colorado.
That's correct. We have a lot of work ahead of us, but we can do it. It's a mini bike. It's a lot of fun to put together.
Exactly. So
my dogs are going to help too.
Yeah, they sure are. They're gonna keep us company while we're turning some of this pile of parts. All that hardware there looks intimidating, but not all that's going on the bike. That's just stuff that we can pick from to use when necessary.
This all right here is your bike. This is all spare stuff, but these are all your pieces. And this is what we're going to assemble and get done.
Exactly. So those are some of the odds and ends. Here you can see the frame that Andy has been messing around with, getting these rear shocks put together. So those are good to go. The front forks put together last night. So I was over here yesterday until about 9 o'clock after work, working with Andy to do that, but also to primarily get the engine to this stage. So our rings are gapped. Top end is all put together. The bottom end is all put together. So the motor is nearly ready to go. Once that's in the frame, we'll be able to prime the oil system and get it actually ready to fire up and run. And we've been able to bench check everything, see that our valves are opening and closing the way that we want them to, that we have compression. So we know that most of what's going on here should be good. It's all checked out to be fine. And this kit for this 88cc piston and this top end that goes along with it is really nice stuff. The rings actually came gapped to the spec that we wanted to see straight out of the box. We didn't have to make any adjustments there. And then everything in this top end is just really nice quality stuff, wouldn't you say?
I would. And its goal would be to be running by midnight.
Yeah, so that means it's time for us to step to it, turn on the jets, and start putting this bike together. One of the coolest things about how Andy puts these bikes together is that he maintains the original paint by polishing it up, wet sanding it, and making it look as good as possible while fitting on some new decals, some new fresh parts to make it ride like a brand new bike, but still using a lot of Honda original equipment, including even a lot of the hardware holding the bike together. Now we are doing a couple modifications to this bike, like an 88cc piston and top end kit, as well as a reproduction seat that's done really well, but in general, most of this bike is very original. And we're also keeping the original parts that we won't be using, like the stock piston and head. And now that we have the motor in the frame, we can work on getting this bike fired up. So that is the end of our night on this night, because it's 1:37 in the morning. We are still planning to get back at this first thing tomorrow morning after a little bit of sleep, put the rest together. But now that it has fired up, We've got the bike pretty far along. Then tomorrow is going to be putting on wheels, handlebars.
Yeah, we don't really have much
seat
left to go. Everything else goes really fast.
There's going to be refinement down the road.
Very
We're
much
just
so. You
trying
know
to get
that
it to the
just
show.
from the charity bike build.
Yeah.
That's what you put that 100 miles on it for.
Tomorrow morning, we're gonna get this put together. We'll try to get to the bike show as early as possible.
They'll be waiting for us.
Yeah, we're going to start working well before 8 a.m., see how early we can get over there, but it's happening. After a solid 3 hours of sleep, it was time to get back at working on the bike so we could try and get over to the motorcycle show in Erie as soon as possible. And there is still plenty of parts to put on the bike. And just like that, Andy, we have a pretty complete bike.
We do, Case.
It's still going to need a couple things. So this throttle tube is just sort of mocked up in place. So I got to get a throttle tube of my own. This one I'm borrowing from Andy. A better lever over here. Put our cable ties on there. There's some spacers that we missed in between the wheel bearings, so we got to pop the wheels off, do that. We got to run helicoils into these bottom bolts.
Foot peg mounts.
Right there, yeah, for the foot pegs, because we don't want those popping off while I'm standing on them. And a couple little minor adjustments like that, but for the most part, yeah, it's a running and pretty much put together bike. So that means we can go ahead and get this moving on over to the bike show to at least get it on display, go check out the other bikes that are there. It's about 10 a.m. and we're doing pretty good because the bike show goes until 2 p.m. Does sound good.
Vital.
So pretty happy about it. Glad that we got the bike together enough to get it to the show. And then afterward, Andy and I are going to be barbecuing at my house. Going to have a couple friends over.
Make our list of everything we got left to do. It's tune and test from here on out.
Yeah.
100 miles, and then we'll change the oil, do a valve adjustment again. I can hear they're already, I have them set loose for this initial heat cycle. But yeah, not much. We're looking forward to continuing to dial in, tune and test, tune and test.
We decided to bring a few of Andy's CT70s as well as my Moto Compo to the show and have an entire mini bike setup. And the turnout this year to the Colorado Vintage Motorcycle Show was awesome. There were tons of really cool bikes and we got to meet a lot of cool people. And this year they had a photographer doing tintype photos, which is very rare to find. So we pulled out my newly built CT70 and set it up so that my gal and I could take a picture with the bike. I also want to say a quick thanks to Scott and the team over at Rider Justice because they sponsored the video series that initially got me interested in a CT70, where Andy put one together to benefit a charity. And if you're ever in an accident on 2 wheels or 4, I highly recommend you talk to Rider Justice because Scott and the team over there do a ton for motorcycle riders. And just like that, the show is wrapped up. Another really cool year of the Colorado Vintage Motorcycle Show here in Erie, Colorado. I try to go to it every year. My buddy Paul Kraus and Bob Kelly, they put the show on, and they do a really good job of it. A lot of really cool bikes that were there. We even got some tintype photos made of my gal and I posing with the newly completed CT70, which is super rad. So I'm walking over to pick up my truck so we can load up all the bikes, bring them back to the shop. Still some more refining to do, but soon we'll actually have a video riding the CT70, which is going to be the most exciting thing yet, of course. So stay tuned for that very soon. That's all for this video, and thanks for watching. We'll see you very soon with a running and riding CT70.